Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from last week to this week, the foundation was poured all this week. That was on Thursday. Here the walls were already taken down on Friday. Here today it's Saturday and I had my family come to help me. What we did today, I'm going to explain to you, is in the concrete, you can notice between the walls here, you can see these little indications, I don't know, like in between the panels. There was these pins, we'll call them pins, these metal pins in the foundation that were sticking out after the framing of the walls came down. And so what we did today is we used anywhere from a 5-pound to a 3-pound hammer, depending on your preference, and we knocked out all the pins, both inside and outside the foundation. My recommendation is to knock them all out at once. So you don't want to wait to do a certain area, because if you start on your next step, you could interfere with the outside so if you were to try to knock out, it might make some movement on the other side of the wall. So just do it all in one step. So then you're ready for your next step. So then the next step after removing all those pins, a lot of hard work goes into that, a little bit of elbow. And so then the next thing is to patch those holes. So those little craters that you create where a little bit of the foundation comes off with the pin knocking it out, there was a little bit of a cement mix that we created. So 75% hydraulic cement, and then we used 25 Portland cement was the other concoction. And the Portland, come to find out when I was talking to my concrete guy that came on site today, is the Portland is there to help slow down the curing and the shrinkage. This stuff really dries quickly, which is a bonus because then you can do your next step all in the same day. So the Portland slows down the curing process. So that's a little bit of a special trick that he was able to pass on to me, and now I'm passing on to you. So after we went around, you will say is on the exterior, you only really need to do this on the primary foundation of the house. So as my expert, my concrete guy explained to me, pretend that your garage isn't there and pretend that your porch isn't there, and it's just the main living space that you're going to do this on. So you patch all the holes on that main living space, right? Your true basement with the 8-foot walls on both inside the foundation where your basement's going to be, and on the outside. What that prevents is the water running down the grooves of the pins that you just knocked out. So if you don't cover it, water will get in and through as a channel. So covering that up with cement makes your foundation more waterproof, and so that's what we did. Just a note though, I'm so happy he told me this, on the exterior where we then put this, you can see where we put the tar, you don't have to be pretty about it. But on the inside, I don't know if you can tell, I was a little more particular about how I applied my application and using very minimal material, because those basement walls aren't getting finished. So you're actually gonna see them when my house is all up and you walk into the basement. That's the finished wall right now, right? I'm not finishing my basement maybe in many years from now. So I was a whole lot more careful on the inside and not thinking so much on the outside. So I was the one to go inside and do that mix, just because I knew my imperfections instead of somebody else blaming somebody else years later. So that's a little special tip. After we did that, we waited for the cement to cure, and you could tell very quickly what was wet cement because it was a darker coloration, and then when it dried, it got lighter in color. So then we knew we were ready for tarring. So before you tar, this is some good advice. We set the line on which, because you don't want to go too high, because you don't want to see your tar sticking out of the ground. So you can see this, we created a line here. So we didn't go all the way up because my ground cover is only going to go up a little over the tar. You don't want your tar hanging out of your concrete. You would much rather see your concrete than the tar. So my concrete guy was nice enough to show me grade, right? That's really what we're explaining here, is the grade of my landscape. So where the dirt is going to come up to the house. So he knew already from my porch, I wanted my porch, the landscape to be really high on my porch so I don't have to put any railings. So we knew we were gonna go high, and here's a good example. I'm gonna show you this to explain what I mean. So we took a line, a chalk line, and snapped it, right? So here you can see it's not straight. So here's my porch, because the dirt's gonna come right up to my porch so I don't have a railing. But then you can see here where the back of my house is gonna slant down. So we didn't make a straight line. We actually chalked it on an angle, and so that it's gonna be lower here than it is in the front, right? Quite the illusion. But we did it on purpose. So before you start tarring, just make sure where you want everything to go, okay? So here, I'm gonna step down into where my basement is so then I can give you a better perspective of then tarring. So when we tarred today, what a long day. I'm so sorry this video is so long. So when we tarred, we operated where somebody cut in the line where the chalk line was, started tarring the top, so then it was easier for anybody with a roller that was in their rolling zone to just come right in behind us and roll the tar. So now at Home Depot, if you call this tar, be careful because they might give you roofing tar. That's not. You want foundation coating is really what it's called, but it is a tar material. So be careful when you're gonna go buy it because the cans are right next to each other too. So if you say tar, people are gonna give you the wrong stuff, but this is foundation coating. So here we laid on a really thick base here, but what is really important is this groove at the bottom, this sill, this sits right on the footing. You wanna get really mucky in there because then it's gonna create a joint where this tar, if there was water, it runs all the way down, it's gonna hit this joint and then roll off the footing. The footings are a little further out under this paper here, and then it goes down into the drainage that we installed already. So underneath this stone, there's drainage. We put the stone on top. Then we tarred, and to finish it off, we put the back on top the Marafi paper. So the Marafi paper is a barrier, but when we did it, I'm also gonna tell you another trick. This was my site guy's idea. It was a really good idea. So this Marafi paper is a little fine and will pick up in the wind. So what we did is when we were doing each section and it was still wet, it's a little wet still, we would roll out a sheet of it, put it right next and onto the wet tar. So now you've got a really nice barrier. He was pretty smart about that. I'm happy he gave me that tip, so I'm sharing it with you now. So, as you can see, here I am, the foundation. I did not have to tar. Hold on, let me see the direction. I did not have to tar. That's my basement where it stops, or excuse me, my garage where it stops. Remember, you don't have to do that. And then here, you see, that's my front porch. So it also stops. You don't have to do it in those areas. Just the main house where it's got the larger 8-foot walls, your main living space. What a day. I'm exhausted. But at the end of the day, I just want to say I was very grateful that this week I asked for help. Typically, I've been coming here and doing things on my own, but my family was nice enough to come pitch in a hand, so we were able to do it in one day. So again, my gratitude goes out to my family and some of the tips people told me before starting this weekend. So thank you. I hope that was helpful for you. Take care. Bye.